In the headlines tonight, the government proposes to make severe abuse of public housing, like subletting a unit, a felony, with a fine of $500,000 and 1 year behind bars. Former university professor Khaw Kim-sun has his life sentence remained after a seven-juror panel unanimously found him guilty of killing his wife and daughter with a yoga ball in 2015. And 3 men are injured after a landslide pushed an excavator off the slope on Lin Tak Road in Lam Tin.
The Housing Authority proposed to amend laws to criminalize severe abuses of public housing. Currently, the authority can only terminate tenancies for serious misuse, but lacks the power to prosecute, leading to weak deterrence. The proposed amendments would make subletting public housing for profit and using units for commercial purposes while not residing there serious offenses, punishable by up to $500,000 in fines and 1 year in prison. It would also allow authorized personnel to verify individuals' identities when it is reasonably believed a violation has occurred. Refusing to provide information would be illegal, resulting in a fine of $10,000 and 6 months imprisonment. Additionally, the proposal seeks to extend prosecution period for false statements and non-compliance to 6 years from the offense date, or 1 year from discovery by an authorized officer. The Housing Authority will consult the Legislative Council next month, aiming to submit the amendments by April and expecting implementation by mid-2026.
構成一個其實好大嘅嗰個代價，經濟代價。
Clarissa Wong, chairman of the Subsidized Housing Committee, highlighted the significant economic burden public housing misuse places on society, noting that the cost of one public housing unit, excluding land and development costs, is over $1 million. She hoped that the amendments will not only deter misuse, but also encourage those who do not require public housing to vacate their units. Since July 2022, the authority has reclaimed 7,000 public housing units found to be misused or in violation of tenancy agreements, equivalent to 10 public housing blocks valued at over $7 billion. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
The Housing Authority's Subsidized Housing Committee has approved enhancements to the subsidized sale housing scheme. Under the new measures, young family applicants and single applicants under 40 years old who belong to the white form category, which means non-public housing residents, and have applied unsuccessfully twice for a unit, will receive an additional lottery number to improve their chances of securing a home. Additionally, the quota for the white form secondary market scheme, allowing white form applicants to purchase secondary market subsidized flats, has been increased from 4,500 to 6,000, with all additional slots allocated to youth applicants.
Former university professor Khaw Kim-sun has been convicted of murdering his wife and daughter using a yoga ball filled with lethal gas, failing to clear his name in a retrial. A 7-member jury at the High Court unanimously found the 60-year-old Malaysian anesthesiologist guilty on 2 counts of murder. The judge then upheld the original verdict and sentenced Khaw to life imprisonment. Khaw did not enter plea afterwards. This case dates back to May 22, 2015, when Khaw allegedly placed a leaking yoga ball filled with carbon monoxide in the trunk of their Mini Cooper, resulting in the deaths of his wife, Wang Xiufeng, 47, and their 16-year-old daughter, Lily Khaw. He was initially convicted in 2018, but maintained his innocence while serving his life sentence. In 2023, he appealed to the Court of Final Appeal, which quashed his conviction after ruling that the trial judge had misdirected the jury. The case was subsequently sent back to the High Court for retrial, which started in November last year. Khaw represented himself in a retrial, but failed to prove the deaths of his wife and daughter may have been accidental rather than intentional. 3 construction workers were injured in an industrial accident this morning in Lam Tin. The incident occurred around 9:30 a.m. at a construction site on Lin Tak Road, where a slope cutting and road expansion project was underway. An excavator reportedly lost its balance and fell from a 20-meter-high sloped platform, crushing a 50-meter safety net and a rubbish truck underneath. The 2 drivers of both vehicles were able to evacuate by themselves and were reported to suffer minor injuries, while the 3rd worker was freed at around 12:30 p.m. after being trapped for 3 hours and nearly 2 hours of rescue efforts. He was injured with his foot pinned and was conscious at the time of rescue, requiring a neck brace for stabilization. All 3 were rushed to hospital by ambulance. Speaking at the scene, Chow Si-kit, chairman of the Hong Kong Construction Industry Employees General Union, expressed concern over the recent spate of industrial accidents, indicating that it reflects inadequate safety management on construction sites. He questioned whether proper assessments had been conducted beforehand and why heavy machinery was deployed in soft soil conditions. While regulations do exist, effective implementation from top to bottom on construction sites is crucial, Chow said. Corresponding work of the project, which is under the Civil Engineering and Development Department, had now been suspended, with an investigation being held by the Labor Department. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Chief Executive John Lee said the government will explore all means to rescue Hong Kongers ensnared in high-paying job scams across Southeast Asian countries. Speaking ahead of the Executive Council meeting, Lee said progress has been made by the Security Bureau Task Force in Thailand, and the Thai counterparts have also taken the matter seriously.
The visit by the Security Bureau Task Force, I think, has achieved some positive results, and they have been met by the Minister for Justice in Thailand, and Thailand officials have already indicated that they will attach great importance to the cases and try all their means to try to rescue those Hong Kong people who are captivated.
Lee highlighted the intensified efforts of the Security Bureau in investigating these fraudulent schemes, including collaborating with Interpol, especially since the resurgence of such incidents in 2024.
One thing that I want to make clear to people is, so far, the modus operandi is to deceive people to go to Thailand and then send them across the border. The indications are that this is a scam that happened with the people who have fallen into the trap to make such agreement to go. So far, there has not been indication that it happens indiscriminately against people in Thailand. But we have to keep alert to the development of the situation.
On the last day of their 3-day mission, the specialized task force dedicated to assisting Hong Kong detainees in Thailand met with Senior Inspector General Thatchai Pitani-Labut at the Royal Thai Police Headquarters in Bangkok. Led by Undersecretary for Security Michael Chirk, the task force then visited the Tourist Police Bureau, where they met with officials from the Ministry of Tourism and Sports. While an amber travel alert to Thailand is in place, the government will consider various factors before deciding to raise the alert further. Cheryl Yun, Cable News. National Security Police have brought in the wife and son of fugitive Khaw Kim-sun this morning to aid in an ongoing investigation. The 2 left police stations around noon, sources said. Their aid was sought just a day after Chong's ex-colleague Robert Chong, president of the Hong Kong Public Opinion Research Institute, was questioned and the organization's office was raided. Khaw Kim-sun, who previously served as Deputy Executive Director at HKPORI, was placed on a police wanted list in December alongside 5 others living abroad for allegedly breaching the national security law. He was accused of repeatedly advocating for the city's independence on a social media platform between May and June last year, as well as calling for sanctions against Beijing and Hong Kong between 2020 and 2023. Authorities have issued bounties of $1 million for information leading to the arrest of each individual on the wanted list. Hong Kong passport holders are set to obtain tourist visas on the spot when traveling to Saudi Arabia through designated control points, as announced by Chief Executive John Lee. Starting tomorrow, visitors can apply for a multi-entry visa, allowing stays for up to 90 days upon arrival, or opt for a single-entry visa for a maximum stay of 30 days. Under the new arrangement, SAR passport holders will now be able to visit all 6 member states of the Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf, which also include Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and the UAE, while enjoying visa on arrival or visa-free access. Currently, Hong Kong residents are required to apply for a visa online before departing for Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Saudi nations will be able to visit the SAR without a visa for up to 90 days instead of 30. The Immigration Department said the new measures aim to boost tourism, cultural exchanges, and economic cooperation between the two regions.
The mainland recorded a total of 610 million individuals entering or exiting the country last year, a 43.9% spike compared to the previous year, according to the National Immigration Administration. This included 291 million crossings by mainland residents, 254 million by residents of Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, and over 64.88 million by foreigners, reflecting year-on-year increases of 41.3%, 38.8%, and 82.9% respectively. Thanks to central government's visa-free transit policy, China welcomed over 20.11 million foreign nationals entering to the country without a visa, rocketing 112.3%. Two powerful aftershocks struck Dingzhi County in Tibet last night, barely a week after a magnitude 6.8 earthquake claimed at least 126 lives in the region. But fortunately, no casualties were reported from the aftershocks. The magnitude 4.9 quake and a subsequent magnitude 5.0 aftershock occurred just a minute apart around 9 p.m. on Monday night. The latter struck at a shallow depth of 10 kilometers, located only 9 kilometers from the epicenter of last week's earthquake. This aftershock marks the strongest among over 3,600 recorded since the January 7th earthquake, according to the Regional Earthquake Bureau. While no injuries were reported, the aftershocks caused additional damage to the already unstable buildings, prompting the need to expedite relocation efforts amid frigid temperatures expected to drop to minus 18 degrees Celsius today. To date, over 2,000 shelters have been established, equipped with electricity, water, heaters, and other essential supplies, and more than 47,000 individuals have been relocated to safety.